about looking for potential
Oh my.
in people, in things, in yourself, because if you're going to be successful in any endeavor that God calls you to do,
Right.
including in just in your own walk with Jesus, you have to be able to see what God wants to build in you and
Wow.
not where you are actually starting out at.
Is that why we're with this very beautiful car?
Yeah.
And this kind of whole humdrum car?
Well, I think if the illustration is not clear, this should help clear it up, you know? Because in every endeavor in our walk with Jesus, you know, in your personal walk with God, as a
Right.
leader, somebody who has a vision for something you feel like God wants to fulfill in your life, we all kind of start with something like this.
Right.
That needs a lot of work. And the problem is, if we base the decisions on what we're going to do based on what we see here,
Right.
you're going to make the wrong decisions.
Oh,
for
you
your
sure
life.
are. For cars, I have no problem seeing the potential. Like I can see this thing beautifully set up, a little chop on it, fenders put back on,
Maybe some
painted up.
wheels.
Yeah, maybe some wheels. You know, a good power plant. You know, your mom doesn't see it like I do, eh?
No.
She looks at something like this and she says, "Why is that junk still in the yard?"
Yeah.
But the truth is, there's an area where you can see potential, maybe that other people can't see. And particularly it's an apostolic thing. As I found this a lot, Becky, we've gone into churches where the pastor will adamantly say, "There's no potential leaders in my church." Well, how is that even possible?
If you've got people, you've got potential.
You sure do,
Yeah.
yeah. But then the apostolic gift can come along and say, "Okay, you don't see any, give me this one, this one, this one," right?
Yeah.
And it's like you can just see it on their faces,
Yeah,
you know.
that's right.
And one of the things that I really see potential, where a lot of people might see problems with people, and that is people that got a lot of spunk, you know.
Yeah, the guys with attitude kind of, right?
Yeah, right. You know, and
They got
everybody's
some
like,
fight in them, a little bit of pushback.
That's right. And some people say, "Well, here comes a troublemaker," and I'm like, no, there's potential shining through here, and because they're actually going to do something. Whereas if you're looking for the passive,
The yes man.
sedate, yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
do
right.
Everything you say.
Oh yeah. Then they're never going to rise to be a leader. But there is leadership in so many people that are so close to us. The potential for what you need in the future is right in front of you right
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
And it's particularly speaking about people in the church, you know. People look at their church and say, "Wow, we don't have hardly any youth."
Yeah.
Well, have you got one youth?
Yeah.
Have you got two? Like there's potential right there.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
if you've got it, you can grow it. I just love to look and watch people and see what kind of pizzazz they have, you know. And again, it might be something that bothers somebody, but I just get inspired by it. We've done that with 7 Weeks in Asia. Eh?
Yeah.
A lot of the kids that come, and I've heard people say, "Well, yeah, I don't know if they're ready." I said, "That's the one we want," because 7 Weeks in Asia isn't something you get ready for.
Yeah.
It's something that makes you ready for the
Yeah,
call of
that's
God
right.
on your life. That's just the way we think, and it's a Victory Asia culture thing.
That's right. But I have a question for you, Dad, because when you look at this beautiful piece of metal right here,
Right.
for it to get from this stage to this stage, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, give me a month, and I won't have hardly started.
Yeah, I'm like, where is this tall tale going?
Yeah, right. You think you're going to get it done a lot quicker than you are, you know.
But part of the beauty of doing something like this is the process is what actually builds you as a leader,
Oh,
builds
man.
you as a person, builds you in your walk with Jesus.
Yes.
You know, all of the things that you actually need in order to be able to get this out of somebody's life.
Right.
It's going to take a call, like a pressure, a pulling on your own on
It
your own
really
life.
is. It
Yeah.
takes some persistence, it takes some boldness, you know, and some audacity, tenacity, and some paint. But the thing is that, like you say, it develops so much in you as you do it. And in fact, you know, I love building cars, and every time I build another one, I mean, the first attempt, yeah, whatever, man, the thing probably wouldn't even run. But you just keep working on it and building your skills. It's the same thing if you're a worship musician
Yeah.
or something, right? You've got to build those skills, and you're going to run into a lot of mistakes on the way through, right? And so
And it's part of the learning process.
it really is, and that's what makes us learn it real good, right? Because it stings
Yeah.
when you make a mistake. It stings when you got to do a paint job over,
Right.
right? Or something like that. I mean, I did one car, that 29 Dodge that we drive, and bought all new windows for it, and was going to install them. We were living on the farm, and I put them on the heater to warm them up, and they all cracked.
Whoops.
Whoops! Let's go buy new windows, you know. And good thing the whole
Yes.
thing was only $100, you know, but
Yeah.
back in the day. But you make mistakes. It's possible that you could be afraid of making mistakes with people, but people are much more resilient than hot rod projects or any physical thing or music or anything. It's amazing what you and I have come through and still survive.
Yeah,
right?
and I think as long as you're committed to the people, right? You're committed to what you're doing in somebody's life. It doesn't matter
Right.
how it's not working so well sometimes in the process.
Yeah.
If you're committed, then there's a trust there, a confidence that, yeah, we don't know everything that we're doing, and maybe it's not working out the way that we thought it would,
Yeah.
but we're still in this together until it's actually completed, right?
That's right, yeah. And there's something glorious about it. I mean, the fact is we look forward to the future, a great
Yeah.
future of what we can accomplish. And then when you accomplish it, it's like, yes. And then
Yeah.
you're ready for the next battle, right? For the next
Yeah.
bigger thing, really.
That's right. So when you look at like the finished product, right? The thing that you've been dreaming about and investing in and building and all that stuff, now you have something that you can use as a model that other people can see, you
Right.
know? That God can take something that's like this and turn it into something that's like this.
Right.
You know, and it gives people hope and confidence. And that's why as leaders, we have to succeed in the thing that God's called us to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, we do.
Because if we don't succeed in it, all we're showcasing is nothing. How to be frustrated in ministry, how to be frustrated in your relationships, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is we have to succeed
Yes.
in the thing that God's called
Yeah,
us
we
to
do.
do. Otherwise, there's nothing there to be an inspiration and
Right. Yeah.
an example for other people to follow.
Yeah. And one of the aspects about it that I find interesting is that, when you look at a car like this and you say, okay, this is what we're going to do, we're going to do this and this and this, as the process goes, things change.
Yeah, that's right.
And you discover that you didn't see everything in the beginning.
Yeah.
And when we're dealing with people, we don't see everything they can be, right? We see potential, but that's what potential is. It's not like a complete picture.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
And so we get to work with people and train people, mentor people really, and then we see what develops in their life as the stages go through, the seasons go through.
Yeah.
And it's often, well, it's always, let's say, much more than you expected
That's
in the
right,
beginning,
yeah.
right?
And also what God brings out of you is often much more
Right.
than what you expected to, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between sight and vision. And I think as leaders, that's the thing we have to ask God for is we can see, we've got sight, but Lord, give us your vision for the potential that's in people. And I think if there's anybody that you're looking at and you don't see a glimmer of, man, I can see what God can do in them, then you need to ask God to help your heart because you're not going to be able to lead anybody that you don't see that there's potential
Right.
in, right? That there's
That's so
vision
true.
for. So for every person that you are responsible for that God's put under your care, you have to see there's gold in this person, there's value in this
Yeah,
person, there's
right.
somewhere that we can go with it.
Right. And that when we see, as a leader, when we see potential in someone, that's really what energizes us.
And the cool thing is that you treat them as if they are that person.
Right.
Right?
You
You
so
don't treat
do,
them
yeah.
like they're this.
Yeah,
You treat
right.
them like they're that.
That's so true.
And then they rise to that challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that's what God does with us, right? He calls us his sons and daughters. He
Mm-hmm.
calls us to a level of righteousness and authority and that we don't even know how to walk in yet, but it doesn't matter because it's already who we are. And it's the same with those that we lead, right?
Right.
So we are treating them as if they are the finished product.
Right.
And in doing that, it pulls them along.
It's true. It's true.
Right away.
And that's really, it's really honor, isn't it? To treat someone like they are the finished
Yeah.
product.
Because you're honoring who God is in them.
That's right, yeah.
Not who they aren't yet.
Right.
Right?
Not what they failed at or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you're honoring that potential, and it sees the end result that's going to be absolutely amazing, even though you don't see all the details right now. So we really want to encourage you to look at the people that are right in front of you
Yeah.
and see potential in them. Don't say, well, all the good leaders are somewhere. We've had people say, Al, can you send me some good leaders? You've got such good leaders. Can you send me some? And I say, well, even if I do send them to you, they won't be good leaders anymore, because you haven't been able to see the potential in people
It's true.
as it is, and you'll just get frustrated with
Yeah.
them.
It's the Saul and David effect, right?
Right.
The broken people that went to David became mighty warriors.
Yeah.
The mighty warriors that hung out with Saul became broken people. people. And so it really depends on, you know, who you are as a leader and what you believe God can do through your life.
Yeah.
And I think you have to believe that about yourself too, because a lot of times we feel like this as
Yeah,
leaders, right?
that's true.
This is where I'm starting. You're thinking, man, how am I going to bring anybody along with me?
Yeah.
But God is treating me like I'm this, and the faith that I have in my life is this.
Right.
You know, the confidence I have in my life is based on the picture that Jesus has painted over me,
Yeah.
not what I see about
Yeah,
myself.
that is so very true. Yeah. So that's our encouragement. See the potential and work with it. Have a vision for people. And you know, they'll shine and they'll become more than you ever imagined they would be. And it'll come back as an honor to you as well. And I think of all the people that we've been able to mentor. I mean, what an honor it
Yeah,
is.
it's a privilege.
It is a privilege, right? And to be like a mom and a dad and a sister and a brother to so many absolutely wonderful people. And I think if you look across the Victory Asia thing, we haven't had those leadership failures like that. Like I have a really hard time thinking of anybody who actually like quit on us or anything like that, right? And I think it's because of that. We just have something in our culture that we do honor people and we respect them, even if they're 15 years old and
Yeah.
rough around the edges. I don't know, for me, I just see so much potential and I just love it so much. And they can sense that
Yeah.
love, right? And that, yeah.
Yeah, so God increase our vision and don't let our sight get in the way of what you see in our
Right.
lives.